day and welcome to another episode of Monday ReTsene. My name is Zulu, and in today's episode I'll be talking about finances and the impact that finances or financial difficulties that has on one's mental well-being. Most of us, if not all of us, have experienced some form of financial difficulty, whether it was once off or whether it was on an ongoing basis. But oftentimes when we experience financial difficulties, this has a tremendous impact on our overall well-being. So in today's episode, I'll be covering three things, which are the factors that contribute to financial difficulties or stress, negative impact of financial stress on one's mental well-being, and also dealing with financial stress. So when it comes to certain factors that might lead to one experiencing financial stress, there's a wide variety of factors, and I don't think I'll be able to cover all of them, such as one's financial literacy, one's socioeconomic background, certain investments gone wrong, unexpected events. But due to the purpose of this episode, I will focus rather on the psychological factors that might have an impact on one experiencing financial stress. So these factors are, future orientation, locus of control, and also materialism. Right? When it comes to future orientation, this goes according to how one plans, for certain expenses that one might experience in the future. So if you're a person that plans and has a certain budget for certain expenses, then chances are you might not encounter too many financial stresses. But if you do not have a certain budget, or you just spend according to whatever income that you gain without setting any sort of plan, then chances are you might experience some form of financial stress. When it comes to locus of control, this has to allude to sometimes, spending according to, certain emotions or just being impulsive. So let's say, for example, you had planned to go to a certain store and purchase an item, and then you find yourself going to a different store and another store and purchasing more items that you had not planned for. So that might lead in terms of you experiencing financial stress if you had not planned for it, right? And then materialism, within the context of this episode, materialism, focuses on the extent to which people engage in the, continuous development, accusation of certain expenses, assets, in relation to either their self-worth or just a symbolic representation of their self. To some extent, yes, it can be a positive thing in terms of pushing yourself, in terms of acquiring certain finances to be able to afford a certain lifestyle. But oftentimes, people then tend to overpush themselves in terms of trying to acquire certain lifestyle, in terms of purchasing certain items, whether it's cars, branded names, the list goes on. And that might put certain pressure on yourself in terms of not being able to afford that lifestyle, and that leads you to experiencing financial stress. So when it comes to the negative impact of financial stress on one's mental well-being, there's a vast majority of certain negative impacts. Oftentimes people who are experiencing financial stress might lead to certain coping mechanisms of sort. Oftentimes those coping mechanisms can be perceived as negative, such as, drinking, engaging in risky behaviors, also gambling, also taking out loans, in order to be able to accommodate that financial strain. Also negative impacts such as sleep disturbance, insomnia, because you often find yourself overthinking about the financial situation, how you're gonna, cover certain expenses. So that leads to you not being able to have a restful sleep, and also creating, severe anxiety because you're constantly thinking about, these financial difficulties, which then sometimes leads to a person not being able to concentrate, because if you are continuously anxious and stressed, it takes away, your ability to fully focus on certain things and concentrate on certain things, whether it's at work, whether it's at school, whether it's at relationships of sort. You'll find yourself, really struggling to be present. Other impacts, negative impacts, can be, physical alignments of sort, where you continuously experiencing headaches or high blood pressure of sort due to, the financial stress. Also, other things such as relationship difficulties, where you find yourself being easily irritated within certain conversations, or withdrawing yourself from, certain, engagements with your friends, colleagues, or family members, due to either the fact that you continuously worried about the financial stress, or you're unable to, accommodate or be within that space due to certain financial strains. So when it comes to dealing with financial stress, for many people, this can be very much an overwhelming process, as we often find ourselves in a position where we don't know who to reach out to, what to do. Should we look within our own internal resources? And if we do approach certain people, is there a certain form of shame that we'll experience? So it can be a very much complex position to be in. But I think one really needs to be very honest and vulnerable and creative when it comes to such situations, whether to assess whether you're experiencing this financial stress over a long period of time, whether it's seasonal or maybe it's once off, or you find yourself each and every single month you are in financial difficulties, meaning surely a plan of action needs to be taken place, whether you set a certain budget of sort, whether you reach out to, if you have the luxury of reaching out to a financial advisor, whether it's a family member or friend that knows how to handle, their finances.